Hi, welcome to the Dallas County Access North Texas informational meeting. My name is Gypsy Gavia, and I'm a transportation planner with the North Central Texas Council of Governments. So really the goal of this recording is to introduce you all and other participants to the Access North Texas plan and encourage you to provide feedback that will help inform the next update. We are all partners in our region in improving transportation options, and you are a very important part to helping inform the needs and challenges in our various communities. As I mentioned, I work with the North Central Texas Council of Governments, which is a voluntary association of local governments established to assist governments in planning for common needs, cooperating for the mutual benefit, and coordinating sound regional development. So our different departments include our community services, emergency preparedness, environment and development, public affairs, research and information services, transportation, and workforce development. Each department provides assistance to local governments in their respective area expertise. The transportation department in particular plans for both highways and transit. And our plans can range from short range, so 3, 5, 10 years. And then we have long-term plans which can range over 20 years. So the Transportation Department also is the lead agency for developing and implementing our regional public transportation coordination plan, which in our region specifically is known as Access North Texas. So what is Access North Texas? Simply, it's just a plan to coordinate public transportation services and human services transportation across the 16-county region. It's a federally required and coordinated by our state agency TxDOT, and through this process we'll access available transportation services and strive to identify additional providers of public transportation. The information in the plan also is used in funding and planning decisions at COG and with our transit providers. It's also an assessment of public transportation needs of older adults, individuals with disabilities, and for low-income individuals. And this includes working with transportation disadvantaged individuals and their advocates to improve transportation options. If you're interested in reading the previous 2018 update, it's available on our website at accessnorthtexas.org. We've also been sharing information about this upcoming 2022 update and recordings of all the different public outreach events that we've had across our region. So focusing specifically within Dallas County, the main transit provider here is Dallas Area Rapid Transit, so DART, and they provide rail service, fixed route, on-demand services, and cover the vast majority of the county. However, you can also find Star Transit in the southeast part of the county and includes fixed and commuter route and on-demand service. They also work with DART and provide service in the Southern Inland Port area. We also have the Trinity Railway Express, so the TRE, and that's a commuter rail service between Fort Worth and Dallas. We have a number of available options across this part of the region, but some of them may be limited to certain eligibility criteria. So across our county, we have the City of Garland Senior Services, City of Grand Prairie, the Grand Connection, City of Richardson's van service, the City of Saxe's Senior Transportation Program, Dallas County's Health and Human Services Older Adult Services Program, Parkland Senior Outreach Services, and Span Transit covering the City of Capel. Also within Dallas County, and more specifically with DART, we have a couple of changes coming up. So DART is undergoing their network redesign, and really what they're proposing to do with this is to provide more frequent service and consistent hours on their local bus routes. They're adding new GO-link zones and expanding GO-link zones that currently exist. They're proposing to restore light rail system to pre-pandemic levels, provide more frequent evening rail service on the weekends. So these changes are planned to go to their board in August, and implementation is expected and scheduled for January 24th, 2022. If you want to visit their website and learn more about this network redesign, you can find information at dartsu.org. So at COG, we have a couple of planning efforts that have been focused in Dallas County. So to start off, we have the regional onboard survey. So a couple of years, COG partners with the transit authorities to survey public transit riders. Originally, the last update was planned for 2020. However, it was rescheduled due to COVID, and they're expected to start next year once all the different transit authorities have undergone their network redesign. And then we also have our Mobility 2045 plan, last updated in 2018. So the plan provides recommendations for all travel modes, including transit, through a suite of policies and programs and projects designed to improve regional mobility and increase efficiency, safety, and system capacity. We have a couple of plans that are in their final stages. This includes the Botchman Lake Area Planning Study, and it's a transportation and land use study of the Botchman Lake area, Northwest Highway. And it studies safety for walking and bicycling, access to parks and trails, changes to DART buses and trains, access to Love Field Airport, and then other transportation projects. And this is expected to be finalized later this year. We also have the Southern Dallas County Transit Study. So this really aims to develop a comprehensive public transportation plan for the cities that comprise the Best Southwest Partnership. So this includes Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Duncanville, and Lancaster. A transit vision along with specific goals and objectives will be developed to guide the transit planning process. Recommendations and implementation is expected and by the end of the year. Upcoming, we do have a planning study focused on East Dallas, Kaufman, and Rockwall counties. So similar to the last plan, this is really a transit plan for those cities in Eastern Dallas County that are not members of DART, as well as Kaufman and Rockwall counties. We do have a page available, and we'll share the slides for those interested so you can receive updates on this plan. So the Access North Texas plan is a little different than these in that it really takes a regional approach and is focused on transit-dependent populations such as seniors, individuals with disabilities, low-income populations. However, all these plans work off one another and help inform each other. So the information provided in these plans will help inform strategies in Access North Texas, and the future Access North Texas update will help inform some of the needs of future transit planning studies at COG. So as we move forward with this plan update, we really want to seek feedback from individuals who depend on transit, organizations that work with those individuals and are advocates for them. So a couple of questions that you'll see on the survey we'll cover here, just to help provide some context on these questions as you answer them, or if you see a question and want to talk to us, we'll provide our information at the end, and you can reach out to us and we can set up a call. So in the last 6 months, has transportation been missed due to a lack of transport? In the last 6 months, has a trip been missed due to a lack of transportation? So we're looking at work trips, medical trips, wellness trips, which also include entertainment trips, religious trips as well. So really, are there any type of trip, not just, very important to cover medical, but are there any of those that people need to make that aren't able because there's just not enough transit, or there's another barrier that they're facing when it comes to transportation? Also, what keeps riders from getting where they need to go? Is their service available at the time they need it? Are they working late and need more evening hours, or perhaps service on the weekends? Is there any geographical gaps that aren't being met or could be made more seamless? Also, what type of service would be appealing to you or members of your community? Transit can look very different depending on the mode. So, we have rail service. So, for example, that's DART's light rail system. There's also fixed routes, so buses that have set pickup and drop-off locations in the schedule. Also commuter bus, which is very similar to fixed route, but only runs in the mornings and evenings. Demand response, so very similar to DART's paratransit system, where it's scheduled ahead of time and people get picked up and dropped off at a set location. We also have on-demand service. So think of DART's GoLink service, kind of like an Uber or Lyft type of service that can be requested as needed and usually through an app. And also more traditionally, the dollar ride system. So usually a subsidized taxi or private provider that is subsidized by a local municipality. So all of these are just examples of the type of ways that transit can look, and we're really just trying to see, based on the needs of the community, what might be a best fit. Also, what is the best way to enhance the transit experience? I think as we move more to technology, is there improvements to applications that can be made or ways to supplement that? There's definitely there's definitely a need for people that might not have a cell phone or not really know how to use applications to have a call-in number. But is there other ways to enhance the transit experience? Is it making information more available, and how does that look like? Or provided in different languages? We really just want to hear from you all. How can transit be enhanced? And then finally, how can it be improved across our region? So all these questions will help inform what this question looks like and the answers to this. We are covering 16 different counties, and all different 16 counties have different needs. All right. So in our last plan update, we were able to develop 13 different strategies. I won't read them all, but feel free to pause the presentation or the recording to take a look at them. Really, what we're trying to do with these is we plan to do something similar in the 2022 update. And we want to understand, with how transportation has changed, do these still make sense? Are there any gaps in transportation that are not addressed in the strategies? Are there any ideas on how to improve public transportation? So I mentioned public involvement is a very important part of this process. So I want to encourage you, and if you're available to share as well, our online survey. It's available both in English and Spanish, and there's a different one available for agencies. So if you might not be transit dependent but work with transit dependent populations, we have a different survey for you. And all of these surveys are available online through accessnorthtexas.org. We also provide a PDF copy. So if you work with an organization and want to share the survey, we can send you a PDF to print out, and we'll help coordinate for the pickup of those surveys. So we also have a Map Your Experience tool. This is a COG, the Transportation Department tool that's being used by various teams to document the different needs and challenges across our region. So not only can you provide transit feedback on here, but you can also pinpoint specific issues with roadways and bike and pedestrian issues. So feel free to use this tool, share feedback this way. We all take a look at this information internally and include it in our various plans. So the timeline for this update, we're currently in phase 1 and that's really our public outreach phase. Well, once our survey closes, we'll start moving into phase 2 of data analysis and mapping, so that can inform the development of our strategies and chapters. We'll then share the plan and strategies for public comment and take it to our boards for approval and release the update in 2022. If you have any questions about the plan, Access North Texas, you can reach out to any of us here. My name is Gypsy. I'll be the main contact for Dallas County. But if you have any general questions or comments that you wanted to share and wanted us to include as we develop the plan update, you can reach out to or just send those to our email at accessnorthtexas.nctcog.org, and we'll make sure to include your feedback in the plan itself. If you wanted to set up a call separately to discuss some of the challenges you're seeing, and it's just easier to talk through the phone, we can set up a call as well. You can reach out to me specifically at gavia@sctcall.org. Well, thank you all for joining us today, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.